friends. We are back with yet another episode of Through Literary Lens. Namaskar Vinod ji.
Namaskar.
Today we are discussing a Sindhi work, a Sindhi novel by famous Sindhi author Shri Krishn Khatwani, and the name of the work is Satta Dinha, that means 7 days.
Those 7 days.
Those 7 days. So before we discuss it critically, just let us hear the plot summary from Dr. Vinod Asudani.
Welcome friends. As Rajesh has already told you, this is a Sindhi novel, Uhe Satta Dinha, Those 7 Days by Krishn Khatwani, who is one of prominent storyteller, poet and novelist and playwright in Sindhi language. The plot of novel revolves around two main characters, Sharad and his wife Smita. Both are successful doctors. They have been practicing medicine for last 3 decades. At the opening of the novel, they celebrate their 30th wedding anniversary with much fun and frolic. They throw a party where prominent citizens of the city, including local politicians, social workers, journalists, people from medicine, law and other fields attend the function. They have airs about their life. They believe that they are very prominent people. They have served the society and they have this kind of vanity. Rather, they are carried away by the outer glow and glitter of life. After the function is over, they decide that they are going to spend a week away from hustle and bustle of the city into the serenity of mountains. They put up in Bangalore in the mountains for 7 days. They have a very interesting arrangement. They are not going to share the same bedroom for next 7 days, though they would continue to meet each other during the day. So this time, these moments of peace and tranquility give them an opportunity to introspect their past life. The real theme of the novel starts here. Sharad remembers that 30 years ago when he was married to Smita, within a week or so he had to leave India and go to England to pursue his higher education in medicine. There he remembers that he was very close to one of his classmates, Ophelia, and they had shared some of the close moments. But Sharad had not revealed that he was married, and one day he receives a letter from Smita, and naturally Ophelia comes to know of it that he is already married. This annoys Ophelia so much so that she walks away from his life. So he is naturally disappointed. He changes his locality and starts living with some other PG. Here he is attracted to one of the daughters of his house owner, and she's Dorothy, a teenage girl, very beautiful, and he admires her voluptuousness. But naturally this affair also does not last for long. He comes back to India, but very often now he remembers of Ophelia, of Dorothy, etc. On the other hand, Smita also remembers when in the initial days Sharad was away to London, she had come close, rather emotionally close, to her brother-in-law Ravi, and she was very much emotionally attached to Ravi. Perhaps Ravi was not so much attached. When he got engaged to some other girl, naturally he became cold towards Smita. But Smita has cherished those moments, and now when there is nothing to be done, she remembers Ravi quite intensely. Apart from this, Sharad also realizes that he has been alienated from his social life as well. In the city, there is a driver who takes him to and from the office. So he says that even for years together, he has not ventured on the streets of city. Perhaps he does not know even properly the localities of his own city. Apart from that, then there is one Malin, right, the wife of gardener in these mountains. Her daughter Madhavi, provides a very important insight into love and marriage. She is brought before Smita by her mother, and Smita has been requested that she should counsel Madhavi because she is already married, but still she wants to continue a relationship with her lover Lakshman. However, Madhavi comes to the conclusion that although under the force from her parents she has married this man, but she does not love him. And then she poses a very important question: what is right? Is it right to live with the person whom one has married, or whether it is right to accept the man to whom you have given your heart? And finally, Madhavi takes a very bold decision. She comes out of the marriage, rather she elopes with Lakshman, leaving her parents to regret and repent. Sharat and Smita come back after the expiry of 7 days back to their routine. So this is in nutshell the plot of this novel. Now Rajeshji, how do you look at this novel? What are the prominent points that come up for the critical discussion?
Yeah, after listening to the plot summary, certain points strike me very much. Number one, Mr. Krishn Khatwani, as is his wont, he portrays the teenage love in many of his short stories as well as novels. So he is the author of, a sort of teenage love we can call romantic love. He rejoices in portraying this. Here also it comes forth in various ways. Apart from that, I would term whether this is the novel of our polyamorous proclivities. But by nature, every one of us is generally polyamorous. Means we are attracted to more than one people. So this element also shines through the novel. And then another thing which strikes me is that through all these 30 years, perhaps Sharad and Smita have not remembered their leanings in the early days of their marriage towards different people. And when they celebrate their 30th anniversary and spend 7 days in the mountains, living in different rooms, their thoughts go back and they remember those people to whom they have been attracted maybe in the initial days of their marriage, and then they are sucked up into the humdrum of daily routine of their medicine profession as well as the humdrum of marriage. So these things which we tend to forget but which are very much important emotionally, they are also brought forth in this novel. Apart from that, I think Mr. Sharad is also emotionally attracted to Vibha.
She happens to be the daughter of his mentor. Dr. Sumitra Das.
So all these emotional leanings, and Sharad has even physical relations with Dorothy and Ophelia when he is in London. So all this makes their enriching inner lives which they have buried and which they have found time to remember maybe in their old age now when they are tired of their daily humdrum and routine. But then the interesting thing is that when author portrays Madhavi, she has the guts, she elopes with the person whom she loves, discarding her marriage. Now, I want to ask you, Vinodji,
yes,
whether the author is trying to hint at something here. He has presented Madhavi as the foil to Sharad and Smita, or it is just a mention?
No, character of Madhavi has a very important role to play. Rather, I would say that she is the essence of novel. Sharad and Smita, in their advanced age, they remember their affection for different people in their life, but perhaps they did not have the courage and the boldness that is there in the character of Madhavi. Perhaps that is the right thing. One has to be authentic to his passion, to his love. And Sharad and Madhavi were already married. Perhaps they did not have that courage to break that bond which is there in Madhvi. Because marriage may not necessarily be coupled with love. Perhaps this is the point the writer is trying to draw home.
Yeah, but if he wants to draw this point home, he should have given some hints, if not explicit, at least implicit hints. Just presenting the two characters or two sets of characters side by side does not necessarily imply any such.
Now, Madhvi asks one question to Smita. Tell me, madam, whether love is important or marriage is important. I think this is the central metaphor of the novel. Although Smita does not directly answer this question, but as she does not even counsel her to continue the marriage, perhaps Smita endorses the view of Madhvi, though indirectly.
And when they come back after the 7 days, after remembering all these adventures, mental adventures, when they come back, how does the author portray them? Whether they are satisfied, whether they regret their life or what?
No, author is silent. Once they come back and resume their routine, the novel comes to an end there. But one another thing is there. Smita and Sharad have lived a successful marriage outwardly. They do not quarrel, they help each other. Rather, it is Smita who plays a pivotal role in making Sharad one of the best surgeons of the town. And they are highly devoted to each other as husband and wife when somebody looks at them from outside. What they remember or what they introspect is their inner reality. And another interesting aspect to this novel is that they do not share of their emotional life with each other. So this is very interesting part, that there are certain things which are so secret to the person. They dwell in some corner of the heart where person is not even prompted to share those things even with his life partner. So this is another psychological aspect. This is something which is valuable to Sharad. Perhaps if he would have revealed it, it would have created a storm in their relationship. And same is the case with Smita as well.
Yeah, definitely. So there are secrets. Even the life partners, they do not, they are not, nude, should I say, to each other always, mentally, psychologically. So,
I will say that emotional nudity frightens others.
Yeah, it definitely frightens others. But don't you think the author would have done well to portray these things in somewhat a more mature way instead of just portraying the teenage love, and that too primarily in physical terms?
This is really important. I believe that Krishn Khatwani is a master novelist so far as teenage passions are concerned, teenage infatuation is concerned, or the physical aspect of love is concerned. At no time, at no place in the novel we come across where we feel that there is the depiction of a mature love, emotional love, or psychological love between Sharad or any other woman, except indirect hints where he goes and sits for a few hours in the garden in the company of Vibha, who is very young, very younger to him, almost as young as to become his daughter, right? So although he feels a lot of tenderness about her, but at no place his erotic desires are come to the front for Vibha. Otherwise, it can be said to little discredit to Krishn Khatwani that he has not been able to reveal the higher levels of love that should characterize man-woman relationship.
Or even I would say that author has not ventured to depict or portray, because the things simultaneously. What I mean by it is that maybe has created a mutual exclusion, like in the case of Madhavi, either marriage or love. That's what she asks Smita also.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So author has not really tried to depict how the marriage and love can go together, maybe in two different people at the same time. In the eroto, emotionally a person can be connected to more than one persons. This he has tried to posit, but he has not tried to depict it actually, because he creates the mutual exclusions.
He has accepted this, that one can be in relationship to more than one, but this fact remains only at the emotional level. Perhaps a writer has not been able to liberate himself from the powerful forces of society and culture, where he can show his characters so bold that they are handling multiple relationships within the marriage and outside the marriage. Although he accepts it to be a psychological reality, because Sharat admits, right, he is very much given to the thoughts of Ophelia and Dorothy. At places he asks himself where Dorothy must have been. He says that I have learned from someone that she is in Australia, and very often he says he admits that throughout the night he was simply overpowered by the voluptuousness of these two girls, even in this advanced age. So at the mental level, at the emotional level, he is very much given to polyamorous passion, but in reality he still has some respect for the established norms.
Yeah, I mean, there are socio-cultural compulsions and they create mutual exclusions. So author has gone along with those compulsions and exclusions. He has not tried to break any new ground. And here I am reminded of Dr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan, when in his autobiography he says that there are sub-wives and sub-husbands, upapati or upapatniya. And if I am to describe all the sub-husbands and sub-wives, it would take 2-3 volumes more of my autobiography. So this concept of upapatni or upapati is a very interesting concept, which perhaps the author could have depicted in much detail in this novel.
Rajesh, what you say, then it requires society to be more liberal to accept these kind of concepts. Although in the inner reality people do admit this, but I think the time has not yet come, especially in Indian society, where we are so liberal to accept different relationships, their complexities, their demands, their charms, etc. So we can say, to the credit of novelist, that this novel makes a very, very interesting reading. Once you start reading the novel, simply your interest is maintained and you want to finish, you want to see what happens next. So this is certainly to the credit of Krishn Khatwani. And another thing, Mr. Krishn Khatwani lived in Shantiniketan for a few years, so we can find that fragrance, that impact in his writing. All the characters, they bear the names of Bengali culture, right? So that influence is very much there. But I would say that he has not been able to portray the complexity of the relationship that we very often come across in Bengali novels.
Yeah, but anyway, it makes for a very good reading. One should read. And even though the author has stuck to that such things, even emotional secrets are there between the spouses, which are not even revealed to one another. So, I mean, it cannot be expected that the author would have depicted all these things in such a detail as I outlined earlier. So, let us keep it at that. But definitely, you people try to read the novel in Sindhi, as well as maybe it may be available in translation in other languages. So, definitely, it makes for a very good reading. So, we will be back with yet another episode of Through Literary Lens. Till then, thank you, viewers.
Thank you very much. Take care.
And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.